Hey, just wanted to share an experience that I've had with you over the past few years. About 3 years ago, uh, I had to get up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, got up, went to take care of my business. And when I got up to go to the bathroom, I got up and I was a little bit dizzy. You know how that happens sometimes when you get up in years. So I go to the bathroom and do my business and come back and get in bed, and the dizziness didn't go away. And I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. I went to lay down, and the bed and the whole room just started spinning just wildly. It was like a bad drunk, except I hadn't been drinking. And I couldn't even go to sleep. I couldn't close my eyes. And so I kind of laid there, and eventually I drifted off. And I woke up about several hours later. I was still dizzy. And I wound up staying in bed most of that day. And a little bit after noon, I was still feeling really bad, still feeling dizzy, and got this pain in my chest. And I called my family physician, tell him what's going on. He says, it sounds like you may be having a stroke. You need to get to the hospital. So I call my wife, and she comes and gets me. They take me to the hospital. I'm sick and I'm throwing up, and I'm feeling just really miserable. And they do all kinds of tests. They take the EKG, they do the MRI, and they did a brain scan and a number of things. And they come back and say, well, the good news is you didn't have a stroke. The bad news is that everything looks good. I said, what do you mean everything looks good? And he said, everything seems to be fine. We think that you may have had a problem with vertigo. And so we're going to make a recommendation. You go back and you see your regular family physician. He's going to make a recommendation to get you in to see somebody that can help you with this, because there's nothing that we can really do for you medically. And I'm okay. And so a couple of weeks go by before I can get in and see my regular doctor. And get in, we do the exam, tell him what's going on. And he says, everything looks good right now. He says, I don't see, you know, any indication that you're suffering from it. He said, but I'm going to go ahead and I'll get your referral. So they send me to a rehab center. And once again, I had to wait a couple of weeks so I could get in to see the guy at the rehab center. I get in there and I'm feeling good, no symptoms. We go through the routine, tell him what's going on, and uh, no symptoms. He does these tests. He says, well, he says, I can't see anything that's wrong. All your tests are okay. And you're not suffering now. He says, there's nothing really that I can do for you at this point. If it gets to be a problem, we'll take it from there. So I didn't think a whole lot about it. I thought it was one of those little passing things. And I guess it was about a year that went by, and then bam, I had another one. And back to the doctor. Once again, took me a couple of weeks to get in and see the doctor. No symptoms. I can't treat you. I go to a neurologist, the ear, nose, and throat specialist. I go to a cardiac specialist. I go to a couple of different therapies. And each and every time I go, I don't have these symptoms. It takes weeks to get in, and it wasn't bothering me. And I had seen maybe 8 to 10 different doctors, and they're all telling me the same thing. We don't see anything. Your tests look good. We can't help you. And so at this particular point, I'm kind of done with these doctors. I have these short, dizzy spells, and I just deal with them. I figure that's part of growing older. That's what I have to deal with. And I guess about 6 months ago, I noticed that I'd get up in the morning, I feel great for about an hour and a half. I'd come in, I'd sit down, I'd have my coffee, and I'd either read the paper, I'd watch television, and I started getting these little waves of dizzy spells, and they weren't anything debilitating. Now, this is the thing is, I never was in pain, but it just makes you so uncomfortable that it's hard to focus and it's hard to function. And so I get these little waves of dizziness just sitting still, and they pass in about 15, 20 minutes. I think, well, that's part of the aging process. Just deal with it. About 2 weeks ago, I had another one of those really, really bad situations. Like I said, I'd given up on doctors. but I had been in bed for over a day. I could not get up. I could not do anything. Go to the hospital emergency room. Once again, they run the test. They do a brain scan, MRI. They check my heart, come back, say everything is okay. And I tell them everything is not okay. I said, isn't there just something that you can do to, I'm looking for some relief at this particular point, just something to get rid of this dizziness. So they gave me a couple of prescriptions, and I said, this should take care of it pretty quick. And I'm a little over a week into these prescriptions now, and they're not helping at all. Not at all. Now, it's not as bad as it was, but I'm still suffering every single day. I lean forward. It takes me anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute and a half before I can get up out of the chair without losing my balance. So it's pretty serious. Once again, I'm not in pain, but it is hard to live and function like this. I go and I see somebody that's recommended to me it's 2.5 hour drive away. I go and see him while I'm still having these symptoms. And I get in, tell him what's going on. He starts his exam. He starts to run these tests. And within 4 minutes of running these tests, he says, what you've got is you've got positional vertigo. And he says, there's not a lot I can do for you. I can give you a couple of prescriptions. He says, but you need to see a specialist who can help you with this. You need to go see your primary care physician. You need to get a referral so he can get you in to see this guy. He knows a guy. I know a guy. And so I have had some email exchange with this guy that he knows. And I'm hoping to get in to see him while I still have these symptoms so they can diagnose and try to address what's going on. What I wanted to do is for people who are suffering vertigo, man, it's difficult. It's really hard. It makes life, quality of life really sinks down quite a bit. But what I want to recommend that you do is you insist on seeing somebody when you have these symptoms so they can deal with them. Don't let them put you off and have you going in to see them when everything is great, you're feeling fine. You need to see somebody when you're right in the middle of this. And I'm hoping that this guy can get me taken care of because it's extremely uncomfortable. I'm not in pain, and I praise God for that. But I have a hard time just functioning day to day. It's just really, really difficult. So if you're suffering from vertigo, get some help while you're still having those symptoms. And if you know somebody that has vertigo, you need to cut them some slack because it's really, really hard. And I just want to try to encourage you guys. And let me know your experiences, any recommendations or do's or don'ts, and tell me how you're dealing with it. And I'm going to get off here. That's from the land of Galt.